The worst flood in memory, of course, was the flood of '93. It was all over the Midwest. Billions of dollars in damages, a lot of suffering, a lot of losses. Some people had to move, and in the case of Valmeyer, Illinois, the whole town had to move. Last summer, Ruth Ezell visited Valmeyer 25 years after the Great Flood.
Here in Valmeyer, Illinois, there's an entire generation of residents for whom this is the only Valmeyer that's ever existed. But for those who lived through the flood, it's been quite a journey from devastation to rebirth.
Soon we'll see some more activity here.
Few people recall the history of what happened to old Valmeyer, like village administrator Dennis Knoblich. He was in his second term as Valmeyer's mayor when he issued a mandatory evacuation ahead of the first floodwaters that arrived Monday morning, August 2nd, 1993.
We had anywhere from, if you lived on the good side of town, on the east side of town, few houses stayed completely dry. But then the water levels increased, maybe a foot or two of water there, up to 16 feet on the west side of town. It wasn't as much the depth of the water as it was the current. So we had strong current, we had floating debris, trees, small buildings, tractor tires, anything that the water could pick up and float along. That was all coming through and smashing into the houses and causing damage and things like that. So we knew with the amount of damage that we had to the number of properties that were damaged, and with the attitude of the people, we knew that a lot of folks would be going different directions, and there probably wouldn't be a town anymore.
In just a few months, Mayor Knoblich had a preliminary plan and secured a new location for the village 400 feet higher on nearby farmland. With funding from the state and federal governments, the community broke ground in December of '93 for the new Valmeyer. The federal government bought out the owners of about 325 flood-ravaged homes, then turned the land over to the village of Valmeyer, which was responsible for demolition. Rather than rebuild homes on this land, the village is leasing it to area farmers. They, in turn, are growing soybeans on it. Another, more creative example of repurposing can be found on higher ground. Rock City is an underground commercial development in an abandoned limestone quarry. The quarry's caves, with their naturally cool temperatures, are ideal for warehousing and distribution and refrigerated storage. Valmeyer acquired the quarry as part of its purchase of farmland for the new village. It's leasing the property to the developer. As Valmeyer rebuilds its business space, it initially lost about 30. The village is also rebuilding population. Its 1993 total of 900 residents dropped more than 20%. A quarter century later, that figure is up to nearly 1,300.
We had our high school baseball team here that picked up second place in state, which is phenomenal for a town this size. And had we not gone through the effort to rebuild and relocate the town and keep it together, we wouldn't be experiencing things like that now and having things like that for the next generation to enjoy.